Two people, same start date, same opportunity, same coaching, same training, same blueprint, same playbook, same access to mentorship, same conference calls, same everything. Yet, years later, one builds a multi-million-dollar business, the other one blamed the company on the way out when they quit. Same code, different decision, and here's why. Drop the word multiply in the comments right now if you're ready to understand the difference. Let's break this down starting in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Who are we? Hey, 7-figure squad. What we go? Run it up, run it up.
What's cracking, everybody? Money Smart Guy Matt Sapala here, hailing to you from Dallas, Texas, and welcome back to the 7-Figure Squad YouTube channel. This channel is built for one type of person, someone who wants financial control. Control over their money, control over their decisions, control over their future. Not built on hype, not built on get rich quick, none of that jazz, built on faith from a biblical perspective and grounded in real world application. If that's you, you're in the right place. So this is episode 5 of God's economic code in this series. So let me catch you up real fast. Episode number 1 was order. Episode number 2, capacity. Episode number 3, freedom. Episode number 4, structure. We've covered 4 laws, 4 different episodes under one system. And today we introduce episode 5, God's economic code, part 5, multiplication. Because now that you have order, capacity, freedom, and structure, God asks one question: what are you going to do with what I gave you? So right now, somebody's watching this, start this year with a decision. New Year's, remember that? 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year. New Year's resolutions, etc., all that stuff. Now, a new opportunity, a new year ahead of them, a new income stream, a new business, a new chapter. And right now, you're at a crossroads. Do you multiply what's in your hand, or do you just bury it and call it somebody else's fault? Just another year again. Those crossroads have a name. It's called stewardship. And the Bible addressed it 2,000 years ago. My favorite story in the Bible, Matthew 25, the parable of the talents, and this one, verse 14 through 30. Let me break this down plainly. Don't assume you know the story. Read it again with fresh eyes. Let me paraphrase. A master is preparing to leave on a long journey. And before he goes, he calls 3 servants, brings them to him, and he distributes resources to each of them. Talents, according to the Bible, not equally. 5 talents to the first servant, 2 talents to the second, and 1 talent to the third. Now here's the line most people skip over. The text says, gave them talents and money and resources according to their ability. Read that one more time. According to their ability. Now, the master didn't distribute randomly or equally. He didn't flip a coin. He didn't play favorites. He distributed based on demonstrated capacity of what he's observed over the time with him. See, that's not favoritism. This is stewardship law. Now, watch what happens. The servant with 5 went immediately and put his talents to work. Boom, went to the marketplace, earned 5 more. The servant with 2 talents did the same. Bam, went to the marketplace, earned 2 more. The servant with 1, worried, operating out of fear, dug a hole and buried it. When the master returned from his journey, the first 2 were rewarded, praised, expanded, given more responsibility. Now the third, what had, was taken and given to the servant who already had 10. And Jesus closes the parable with this.
Everyone who has will be given more. They will be given more than enough. And what about anyone who doesn't? Even what they have will be taken away from them.
Now sit with that for a second. This ain't cruelty, man. This is not God being unfair. This is economic law, operating the same way, whether you believe it or not. And by the way, the guy that was taken away, he was removed, fired, taken away from the land, taken away from the master's house. Drop the word talent in the comments if this is landing differently than before. Now, I don't need to go back 2,000 years to show you this pattern. I see it in my office. I see it every day, every month, every single year. 2 people would start at the same time, same opportunity, same coaching, same training, same access to mentorship, same field training, same conference calls, same training events. A year later, a couple years later, one builds a multi-million-dollar business. The other one quits, leaves to a different company, and blames their former company, us, for their own lack of results. Again, same opportunity, same resources, same code and blueprint available to both. One chose to multiply it, the other one decided to bury it and called the master unfair on the way out. Or the system, this process, I'm tired. This is too much. Sound familiar? This is not a business story. This is Matthew 25, the parable of the talents playing out in real time, right now, right here in 2026. So drop the word same in the comments if you've seen this pattern before in someone else or yourself. Now, I'm not going to talk about hypothetical people. I'm going to talk about real ones. People who've had the same exact opportunity as a person who quit. I'm going to talk about my guys, Chris and Vicina Hart, Ellis and Jasmine Suazo, Morris and Tori Hansberry, Jamie Mickens, Kahindi and Ellie Tom, Sessa and Ivanyana, Saeed Dibes. By the way, I'd love to tell you what they'd be earning right now, but the FTC has something against that because we have many, many more stories of them being financially free, financially independent, debt-free, and contributing to the communities, contributing to their families. And these are not necessarily special people. These are not people who have had some advantage nobody else had. These are people who decided when it was inconvenient, when it was uncomfortable, when quitting would have been easier. What they decided to do was multiply what was placed in their hands. Again, same opportunity as the person who left. Different decision, different outcome. That's not motivation. This is the code at work. Let me show you exactly what separated them. Let me give you two columns here. First column is the multiplier column. The second column is the barrier column. Now, let me tell you about the multiplier column. People like this show up before they felt ready. The barrier waited to feel ready. Now, the multiplier deployed the training immediately, but the barrier consumed the training and took no action. The multiplier followed the proven system. The barrier tried to reinvent the wheel, tried to make it easier. The multiplier treated it like ownership. The barrier treated it like employment, like they needed somebody to tell them to do stuff. The multiplier stayed when it got hard. The barrier quit right before the compound effect kicked in. The multiplier audited themselves when results were slow. They asked better quality questions. The barrier audited like everybody else and says, I'm judgmental against everybody else who's having success besides me. Now, look at both columns. Which one best describes your last 12 months? Be honest. If you're honest, drop the word honest in the comments below because you cannot change what you're refusing to confront. Let me go deeper because the difference between these two people is not talent. It's not luck. It's not timing. It's not the market. It's 5 decisions made consistently over the period of time. Let's go over them. Decision number 1. They showed up before they felt ready. Now, multiplication doesn't start when conditions are perfect, when the stars lined up. It starts when you move. Chris Hart didn't wait until he felt confident. Matter of fact, he relocated from the West Coast to the East Coast before he felt confident. Left his wife, said, babe, I'm going to make a better life for us. I'll send for you when I'm established here. And just a few months later, before we find a house now to move into. Chris Hart showed up anyway every single time because he understood something most people never learn. The feeling of readiness follows the act of showing up, not the other way around. Decision number 2, they invested in skill before the income arrived. Here's what separates builders from consumers. Consumers ask, when does the money come? I mean, we've been plugging in, no output yet. But the builders say, what skill do I need to develop to make the money inevitable? You see, skill is the engine. Income is the output. Many people chase output. You don't chase that output. You build the engine. Ellis and Jasmine Suazo understood this. They poured into training, applied the coaching, treated every call like it was the most important meeting of the week because to them it was. And they relocated from our Chicago office and established the Atlanta office. So proud of them. Now, first generation cash flow millionaires. Again, they are not your average agent. Chris Hart and Vicina Hart, first $2 million income earners we coached and mentored. Again, they are not your average age. A lot of people that come under our roof also do fail. They are above and beyond because they treated their business as a multiplier. A lot of people treat the business like a barrier. They bury the opportunity. They bury the talent. They bury in doubt. Decision number 3, they follow the system instead of reinventing it. This one trips up a lot of smart people. Smart people want to do it their way. But multiplication follows proven patterns, proven formulas, not personal preferences. Our guys leading our Oprah office, Maurice and Tori Hansberry, didn't modify the process before mastering it. They just ran the play that was already working. And then, once they mastered it, they made it their own. That's the sequence. Master first, innovate second, not the other way around. Improve after you establish the formula already with a proof of concept. Decision number 4. They treated the opportunity like they had their name on it. Jamie Mickens, Kahindi and Ellie Thomas, Cesar Ibañez, Saidabas, every client, every call, every relationship, they handled it like it was their business. That wasn't mine, it's their business. Not working for me, they're working for themselves. Because it was. It's their business. That's ownership mentality. And ownership mentality is what separates the people who scale from the people who stall. So drop the word stayed in the comments below if you've made the decision to stay when quitting would have been a lot easier. Decision number 5. They stayed when it got hard. Now, this is the one that matters most. Every builder hits a wall. Every single one hits a wall. The multipliers in my office hit that wall too. A lot of my guys have hit that wall, but here's what they did differently than everybody else. Instead of looking for an exit or looking to make things easier, they look for a coach. They sat down and processed their issue. They asked better quality questions and how they can get over this slump. Instead of blaming the system, they audited themselves. Instead of asking, is this even worth it? Am I really going to dedicate the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years of my time to this without innovating? They asked, what do I need to change to make this work? That one question is the difference between multiplication and mediocrity. Now, let me show you the other side. I've watched people sit in the same training room as Chris and Vicina Hart, same room, same information, same access to everything that Chris and Vicina had. But Chris built a multi-deca-million-dollar business. The other person, still looking for the right opportunity, still waiting for the right timing. And here's what I learned and observed after 26 years of me doing this. The barrier doesn't just quit. They ask the same question over and over and over again, just worded differently, hoping that somebody will give them another answer that will justify why they're not moving. Is this really the right time? Do you think the market is too saturated? What happens if this company happens to this? What happens if I try this other approach? What happens if I just sit there and buy leads? What happens if I just pay my way for quick access instead of earning it? See, same question, new angle, same result. They're not looking for a solution. They're looking for permission to stay exactly where they are. And that is not a business problem. That's not a market problem. That's not a timing problem. That's a stewardship problem. And a servant in Matthew 25 did the exact same thing. He didn't multiply. He explained. He said in Matthew 25, I'm paraphrasing, I was afraid. I knew you were a hard man, so I hid it. I just wanted to give it back to you when you came back. And by the way, the mattress, at least you could put it with the banker, so at least I would earn some interest on it. See, a different version of the same excuse, dressed up as wisdom. Fear never multiplies anything. Now, I want you to drop one letter in the comments right now. M, if you're a multiplier, or B, if you've been bearing it. No judgment, just honesty. Because you cannot change what you cannot and won't confront. If something's sitting in you right now, you're afraid to be in a room with people like Chris, and Alice, and Maurice, and Jamie, and Kahindi, and Caesar, and Saeed, the link is in the description. No pressure, just information. But remember, information without action is just expensive entertainment. So let me put this all back together with the God's Economic Series, what we've covered. Episode number 1 is order, the sequence that prepares the ground. Number 2, capacity, the ability to carry the increase. Number 3, episode 3, freedom, the responsibility that comes with it. Episode number 4, structure, a foundation that holds it all. We just covered right now episode 5, multiplication, the output when all 4 are operating together. Because when order meets capacity, when freedom meets structure, multiplication is not hope. It's the inevitable result. So here's what I want you to understand. The master in the parable did not reward the servant who had the most talent. He rewarded the servant who did the most with what he was given. That was the standard. Not comparison, not competition, just stewardship. So, what are you doing with what's already in your hand right now? Luke chapter 16, verse 10 says this, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. Multiplication is not a destination, it is a demonstration. The parable of the talents is not a story simply about money, but is a blueprint for how God evaluates what he's entrusted to you. Everything from your family, your business, your relationships, and that verdict is always the same. Multiply what you're given. For if you don't, watch it being taken away from you and reassigned to someone who will. Now, the year's not over. You still have time to decide which servant you are. If you're watching this right now and you find yourself trapped in a career that's going nowhere, trapped in a business that stopped growing, trapped in a financial situation where you know deep down that you were built for more, comment the word movement below. Not for me, but for you. Because the first step towards multiplication is deciding you're done with where you're at. Yes, God's academic code is available. The question is whether you're going to multiply it or bury it. Comment movement in the comment section below and let's go. Now, if this series is building something up inside you, please consider subscribing to this channel, smash that like button, drop your biggest takeaway in the comment section below. I read every single one. Now, in episode 6, I'm looking forward to this one, we're gonna talk about ownership. Because here's the truth, nobody wants to say out loud. You don't control what you don't own. And this episode will shift how you see your income, your time, your future. You don't want to miss it. That being said, guys, from Dallas, Texas, I'm your money smart guy. And until we meet again, continue to live smart, continue to love smart, and be money smart today.